Hi and welcome back. So, in this series, what I'm going to be going through is helping you with any sort of hip issues, glute activation issues. When I say this, what I mean is if you're finding that you're finding one side of your glutes or your glutes in general are just not activating, then these are some really good exercises that you can do. All of the exercises I'm going to show you today are body weight only. Of course, there are plenty of activation exercises you could do if you're in a gym and using cables, etc. But these ones I find are really useful and should really hit the spot in terms of feeling that activation kicking in. It's also really useful for those of you who are looking to strengthen up around the hip joint and into obviously the glutes themselves and possibly a little bit into hamstrings, but predominantly we're looking at really glutes and into the hips and sort of down sort of the abductors, okay? So we're looking to strengthen up those areas for you. So if you're having any issues like labral tear or you've got any issues with IT band, anything that's going on into the hip itself, so you're finding rotation or mobility in the hip is a little bit poor, this is going to be the video for you to really try and find some more mobilization, more activation, and hopefully a bit more stability into those areas for you. So to get started, we will do a little bit of mobilization first. We're going to come up to standing, and these are exercises that you could do as well, the mobilization exercises that you could do after, say, you've done a warm up in the gym or just before you're going out for a run or whatever it is that you're planning to do. So these are kind of more dynamic movements for you. So coming up to standing, we're going to take our hands to the wall and you're going to just stand up nice and tall and you're just going to literally just swing through the hip. Now, to start off with, I don't want to see your foot sort of swing all the way up to the sky. The likelihood is if you're just warming up or you've just warmed up and you're about to go out, either for a run, as I say, or maybe you're getting into the gym, then you really wanted to just very gently move into the hip. As you do so, you're going to start to move the legs up a little bit higher. Now you'll watch that my body stays upright. I'm not like moving into the movement, okay? I want you to keep it nice and tall so that the movement is predominantly focused into the hip. The leg is nice and straight, toes are faced up, so we're flexing the feet. And then you're going to switch sides, so coming into the side, moving it through. So this is also great if you're going into like a leg workout, for example, then this is a really nice way just to open everything up before you get into those legs. Obviously, going in cold tends to mean you're going to have more chance of injury. So just moving through here. So I'm going to say about 10 to 12 swings, something like that is absolutely fine each side. Then you're going to face your wall and you're going to sweep it across. So you're bringing the leg across in front of you. So just opening up. And then you'll do that again, as I say, 5 to 10 times. And then move to the other side, or 10 to 12 times even. And switching sides. Good. And just, as I say, almost like you're kicking a football for this one. This is what I always sort of say it looks like. So just opening up, kicking that football. Then you're going to come round. We're going to come down into more of a mobility squat. So you're kind of taking your hands down to the floor, taking the feet out to the sides, moving into those ankles, into the hip flexors, opening up those adductors, opening up the glutes a little bit here. Now, if you are a little bit resistant to going that deep for your first sort of squat, then you're welcome just to take your hands in front of you and just move into it. So a lot of people getting that low is quite difficult. So taking the hands in front and just finding a little bit of movement even is enough. Or even just taking the feet out nice and wide. You can sit up nice and tall and just gently move side to side, okay, and moving into the hips. So there's a variety of modifications we can use to really just kind of gently open up adductors, hip flexors, glutes, abductors, different ways to do it, knees, obviously ankles. So just getting a nice bit of mobility into all these areas for you. So from there, we're going to come down to the ground. Now, as I say, this is predominantly focused for hips and glutes. So we're going to get onto all knees and hands, okay? And we're going to take a little rotation into the hips. So you're going to draw the left knee up towards the left elbow. You're going to draw the knee up and out and round, okay? So it's kind of an oval shape. We're not doing this. This is not what we're doing. We're trying to really draw the knee forward and back. so that we're starting to feel that, you are going to feel that engagement into the glutes, but also just so that you're taking your time to find the movement through the hip joint. Now, everybody's hips are different. So if my rotation doesn't look the same as your rotation, it doesn't matter. Just find what feels good. If your hips are clicky, don't go to that clicky point, okay? Go to the point that feels better for you. So some people, it might be a little bit lower. It might not be that you can get your knee all the way to the elbow. Okay, this isn't a flexibility routine. This is trying to get some movement and mobility into those hips. So whatever works for you, that's what you're trying to aim for, but really focusing on control and movement, okay? You can switch direction with the hips. So coming all the way through, and we'll do that a couple more times, and then we'll switch the other side. So again, I would suggest that you're looking around sort of 10 rotations one direction, 10 rotations the other. As I say, you can do this just as the program is today, but it's also great if you want to do it pre-workout. Okay, so if you've done a little bit of a warm up, maybe on a treadmill or on a bike, whatever it is that you do your warm up on, and then you're just trying to find a little bit more openness in the body, then this is a great way to do it. As you can hear, and the reason I'm struggling to talk to you is because I'm using my core muscles as well to really engage that leg up and out. You know, it's not just the leg doing the work, it's those arms, it's those tummy muscles, etc. Switch direction for me, coming around. And we go 4 more here. 3. You might notice as well that you tend to be perhaps a little clickier one side than the other. Maybe you've got a little bit less mobility on one side than the other. Like I say, just work with what your body asks for, okay? Don't force your body. Okay, so just relax there for me for a moment. You can take the knees out to the side, feet together. Just take a gentle stretch here. This is quite a nice one just for releasing lower back, opening up the hips slightly, and moving into that rotation there. Okay, so when you're ready, we're going to get started. Now, if you have got a resistance band as well available, I will be showing you some exercises towards the end, utilizing the resistance band. Many of the exercises I'm going to show you, which are body weight, can also be used with a resistance band, but to be honest, I think they're hard enough without. So entirely up to you. So the first thing we're going to do is just see if we can find our movement pattern. So we're going to take ourselves onto the bottom, and you're going to just roll over. So you're at 90, okay? So you're taking the foot behind you, and you're going to take the foot out in front of you. So you've got this kind of little square shape in front of you. Sometimes we do this as a modification for something like a pigeon, but this is a great way to take out any work being used into other areas of the body. So we really want to just focus into so this is going to kind of be more opening up the lower back, which is connected to your glutes. But I just find it quite a good movement pattern to get used to first and help release before you move into these other exercises. So in our 90-90 from here, now for some of you, you might be feeling like you're about to fall anyway. So you are welcome to take your hands in front of you, and all you're going to do is walk your hands around, and then you're going to walk them back to center, and then walk them back around, okay? So it's only the side, the front leg that you're walking out in front of, okay? So those of you who find this is okay, and you've got your balance here already, you're just going to sweep the elbows out to the side, back to center, back to the side, back to center. If you want your arms out in front, that's fine as well, whatever feels good here. Good. And again, about 10 of these one side, okay? And then you're going to switch sides, all right? Now, what I would like you to do before we switch sides, we're going to do everything on one side and we're going to move into the other side. So you're going to take your elbow and you're going to take your elbow to the floor. Now, if that's not possible, your hand to the floor is fine as well, okay? So elbow to the floor, you're going to take your right arm, bring it around in front of you, and then you're going to reach the arm up, open, exhale, release, bring it down, open, bring it down, and open. Again, you could do this up to 10 times if you want to. That's fine. One more. Last time. Bring it up. And then finally, with this back leg and this front leg, now this is a little bit harder. You're going to move into the front leg. And as you move into the front leg, and you can use your hands if you need to, so you're going to push up into the front leg, and you're going to lift this leg up, you're going to release, and then you're going to come up, and you're going to bring up the front leg. So you're coming in, so you're pushing up, bring it up, bring it up. You'll notice your knees are going to come in a little bit here, so pushing up, and bring it up. Now this is a variation on the pretzel movement we're going to do later. And you may find this quite difficult. So if you find you're just coming in and all you can manage is that, that's fine. But we'll just gradually build up into it, maybe bringing it up here. So we're not lifting everything up. But as you get a little bit stronger, you want to see if you can press it up. So you're using those abductors as you come forward, and you're using the abductors at the back here as well as you come forward. So you're utilizing both sides. From there, we switch sides. So let's switch it over. So we're going to take that foot out in front, back is nice and tall. Again, either walking the hands over to the side and back to center. So just working through, okay? Or again, maybe arms out in front, reach across, back to center, reach across, back to center, okay? So again, we could do a few more of these. 2, last one, good. And then we're going to take the arm down to the floor, and we're going to take this top arm here, we're going to reach it over, and then reach it up nice and high. In and open. So it's opening up also into the upper back. So just releasing all these sort of little areas, getting that little bit of mobility before we get started. It's going to really help us as we go into these other movements for you. We'll do one more here. Good. And then coming up. So we're going to come in. So we're going to come forward. And then you're going to lift. So you can see my left side's really weak. But coming in. And you're going to come up. So you can lift this back leg up. Maybe you're keeping the body onto the floor. Or if you can, you're going to bring it up. And then you're going to bring it up. 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 It gets a little bit easier as you go. Good. One more. And release. Good. Just take those legs out in front of you. Give a little shake. Okay, so let's get started. So in all fours, we're going to start off going into our glute lifts, okay? So what I want you to do, or a donkey kick is what we normally refer to. Now, I'm going to take the hamstring element out of it. So what I mean by that, you're going to bring the leg up, and then you're going to take the foot towards your bottom. Normally we have the foot out, yeah? So from here, we're going to keep it up nice and high. So from there, you're going to do it as an isolation donkey kick. So you're squeezing up, you hold for a few seconds, and then release. Squeeze it up, hold, and release. Squeeze up, hold, release. So we're going to do around 10 of these. I mean, normally I would recommend about 20 because I tend to find, especially for me, see, I've already lost my foot there. I tend to find, even for me, especially on my weak side, I can't feel anything for quite a few reps. So I need to do quite a few just to feel that activation and back. So yeah, there's a natural feeling to kind of push that foot back out. So just try if you can to keep the foot towards you, just so it's all maintained into the glutes and not squeezing back into the hamstrings again, because we're trying to get away from the hamstrings as much as possible. So we're really squeezing the glutes only. Let's do 2 more here. 1 more. And release. Okay, the next exercise will be taking it out to the side, fire hydrant. So this is slightly different to our normal fire hydrant. Normally, we just lift the leg up and out. And there's a tendency for people to kind of open far too far and they're twisting their body. That's not what we're aiming to do. Again, we're looking to work into glutes and into those abductors now. So this is the bit where we're really going to start to feel this coming into the hips. So you are coming up, which is probably as high as I'm going to go without twisting my body, okay? From there, you push it back and then you're opening up the knee. You bring it back in, and then you bring it back down. So squeeze up, push it back, open up the knee. So you're kind of tilting the foot down, bring the knee back in and down. So let's go for 10 of these. 3, bring it in, up, out, bring it in, down, 4, up, back, open, back in, down, 5, up, back, open, back in, 6, up, back, open, 7. So you should start to feel those glutes and those hips obviously working really hard, and core should be working pretty hard here as well. Good. Keep it going. Okay, we've got about 2 more left to go. Apologies if my counting's gone out the windows there. Last one. And release. Good. Just release back into that. Give it a little stretch. Okay, so our next exercise is a hyperextension into the leg. So bringing the leg right up behind us. There will obviously be some hamstring activation in this exercise, but again, it's going to work on focusing on those hips and those glutes. And you should probably feel it a little bit in the lower back if your lower back's a little bit weak, and it's naturally going to be engaged anyway. So spreading the fingertips nice and long, and then you're going to take the toe out in behind you. So you're extending the leg up, okay? And from there, we're doing it as an isolation exercise again. So you're squeezing up and then release, okay? So bring up, squeeze the bottom, and release. Lift, squeeze, and release. Lift, squeeze, and release. You'll see I've got my feet flexed. For me, I feel like that engages the whole of my posterior chain. You'll find if you release and come into that pointed toe, you lose the engagement into the hamstring there. So I prefer to have the whole of the posterior chain engaged. And make sure you're using those tummy muscles. If it's all feeling lower back, then it means you're not engaging that core properly. Okay, so you need to make sure you're still drawing the belly button up and in, really engaging those abs. Squeeze and release. Let's go 4 more. 4. Good. 3, 2. Good. 1. And release. Again, I would do around 10 to 20 of these, especially if you're just looking to activate glutes only, or you're looking to strengthen up specifically down the side of the body, so into the abduction or into the hip joint itself. I would probably do slightly higher reps on my weaker side just to help to build up that strength again, or that muscle memory, or whatever it is that we're trying to achieve here, because unfortunately our bodies do have a tendency, like once it's got weak, to not really switch on in the way we want it to. So it's worth doing that. Okay, the next exercise we're going to do is attitude. So hands back in front of you again, and this time we're taking the foot behind you. So the foot stays behind you and you're squeezing the bottom up. Now you're going to see I'm going up quite high, and then I'm staying up here, and I'm really just pulsing into this exercise. Okay, so taken from bar movement, but I find this a really good little exercise to work into those glutes. So keep lifting up. You probably feel this more in the lower butt area, okay? And you're going to feel it into those adductors and hip flexors. So if your hip flexors are particularly tight, you're going to feel this kind of opening up. Might feel quite a stretch. So just bear that in mind. And we'll just do 10 more here. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take that leg back. Now we're going to go into rainbows. So we're taking the foot behind us, and you're squeezing the bottom up and over. The common mistake I see is people kind of almost just dragging it across. They're not really doing anything. So you want to make sure you're lifting up and over, engaging the glute, and really squeezing through. Again, watch your hips. Try not to start to rock out the hip like this. Okay, you're trying to keep the hips parallel to the floor, and utilizing the glute only. Okay, so 4 more here. Just try and keep the legs straight, don't bend the knee. Okay, for 4 more. 3, 2, 1, and release. Again, 10 to 20 of these will be really ideal for this exercise. Okay, let's get into some of those more old school exercises, but they're really, really effective. So we're going to go into a leg abduction, and this is lying down on the ground. For those of you in my era, or be earlier than that, I always remember this as a James Wonder exercise, but you know, this is such a good exercise. So extend the leg out nice and long. Now, point the toe, toes face down, heels face up. Okay, from here, you're going to extend the leg up high and back down. Now, I find it quite useful just to have my hands on my bottom and into my hip. So my thumb is onto my hip joint and into my bottom, so you can feel for what you're trying to work. Sometimes when somebody's telling you this is going to work this area and you're just thinking, oh, I can't feel it, just having your hands to that area and be going, oh yeah, okay, that's what I'm trying to work, really helps. Also, just watch your leg placement. You might find if you bring the leg back a fraction, you're going to feel it a little bit more into the glutes. You might find bringing it forward brings it more into the abductors. Find what feels right for you and really just focus on the leg lift. Control the leg lift as well. So I don't want to see you just up and down like this. It's controlled up and controlled down. The actual control on the way down is probably the area that's going to be most effective in terms of that muscle recruitment. So yeah, just keep a focus on what it is you're trying to work rather than just going through the motions and thinking, I'm not quite sure that I know what that was actually meant to work for me. So do 4 more of these. 3, 2, 1. Bring it all the way up, and then little circles back. So those little circles back are probably going to be the killer for you, but they're really good to really hit into those glutes and into the legs. Good. Watch those toes. 2, 1, and release. Just draw the left knee up into the chest, give it a hug, and release. Now, take that leg out in front of you. Same sort of thing. So we're keeping the leg straight this time. And then we're going to just lift up a foot. Now, I want you to try as best as you can to bring that leg 90 degrees to your body. Okay, so don't, if you can avoid it, don't start to let the leg drop back, okay? We're really trying to engage as much as we can now into the glute, yes, but majority of this is going to be more abduction here, okay? So as I say, working into things that need a little bit of support and a bit more strength, this is kind of the exercise we want to be focusing on a little bit more here. So really pulling up and out. Again, just watch that you're not rocking the body, you're using those tummy muscles to engage, and it's nice and controlled up and out. 3, 2, 1. Now you might find that particular one, you can only do maybe 10 or 12 of those, that's fine. Just work to where it feels good for you, okay? That is not feeling like I can't possibly, to the point where you feel maybe you can't do anymore, okay, that's fine, all right? Last one we're going to go into is these clams. So knees together, feet together, and then we're just going to open up. Now, again, you just want to lift the leg as high as the hip allows. Don't try and rock out just to get the leg open more. That's not really the point. So you're just lifting up, and we're going to add an extension into this, okay? So this one, we're just going to go for 10 of these, and then we're going to take an extension for this exercise. So let's keep going for 4, 3, 2, 1. And now bring the knee to knee and take the feet up to the sky, and you're going to kick that leg back. So you're going to push it back for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, squeeze. Last one. So you should really feel this coming into those glutes and release. Just bring that leg back in, give yourself a little hug. Well done. Okay, coming up to seated, we're going to take a pretzel. Now, we talked about this at the beginning of the practice. Now, your pretzel, again, is a little bit like what you were doing earlier. But this time, all you're doing, take the hands in front of you, and you're going to lift that back leg up, and you're going to just take some little baby lifts. Now this should feel fairly intense into probably hips, into the abductors as well, and into the glutes ultimately. Now for me, coming into the right side is never like too much of a problem. I know my left side is going to be feeling this in a moment, but we go for 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. So we switch sides. Now, you'll notice that I did all the majority of our exercises on the left side. That is my weakest side. But I will just want to show you that when you're working into your weakest side, what you want to achieve with that. So going with this side now, we're going to take it to here, and we're just going to lift it up. So squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Good. There's 4, 3, 2, 1. 4 more. 3, 2, 1, and release. Well done. Okay. So from here, we're going to now move into our resistance band work. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of exercises of resistance band. The first one I want to work on is a monster walk. So sometimes they call it monster walk, sometimes they call it crab. Just depends what you work it with. Okay, so I'm going to just work from a mat length for today. But if you've got a whole room that you want to work through, then you can do. You're taking the knees and you're taking the hips back into kind of a semi-squat, okay? You're not going all the way down. Now, if you've got a labral tear, this is the ideal position to get into. When we have things like labral tears, we don't want to get too low because we're just going to cause more problems. So we really want to build up that strength into those hips. So we're going to come down into that kind of 3/4 stance, toes facing forward. You don't want them pointing outwards or anything weird. Hands in front or hands on the hips, whatever feels good. You're stepping the foot out, and then you're nice and controlled in. So you're just little steps, but you can see that nice big stretch, and you're keeping the resistance band completely in resistance, okay? It doesn't really relax, you know, you're not bringing the feet all the way back together. My toes aren't facing out on the way out, yes, they stay engaged, but knees staying engaged as well. Make sure knees aren't dropping in, okay? Push against that band, pressing it out. Okay, so nice and controlled all the way out. Well done. And then back. Okay, so that's one exercise that you could do, and I would recommend around 20 step out and 20 step back in. So you're really feeling those abductors working and the hips working. From there, when you come to the end there, you could take some little squats, pulsing into it. Again, a 3/4 squat. I'm not asking for you to come all the way down. If you have no issues in hips and glutes are the main thing you're looking to fire, then by all means you could come down a little bit lower into the squat. But if you've got any tears that are going on into the outside part of the hip, or even the inner thighs, anything like that, then just a 3/4 squat is sufficient. Okay, just to still engage and work those muscles, but without overstraining them or causing further problems. Okay, so from there, you'll do around 10 to 15 little squats, then you would step it back out to the other end, and then do 10 to 15 little squats here as well. Okay, okay, so that's one resistance band exercise where we're working into those abductors. The next resistance band exercise I'd like you to focus on is bringing the feet, again, about hip width apart, nice and low. Again, hands to hips. So this time you're stepping the foot out. You're going to step the foot out to sort of 2 o'clock and then back to around 5 o'clock. Okay, so it's 3 o'clock, 1 o'clock maybe, and then 5 o'clock. So 3, 1, 5. 3, 1, 5. So we're starting to work and engage those glutes a little bit harder. You're going to feel it into the hips. So all of these sort of exercises are genuinely designed to work on multiple parts of the body, okay? It's not all in one area, and frankly, you'd be struggling to find any exercise that is specific to just one area. You're always going to engage other muscle groups in order to do that exercise. Good. 4 more. squeeze, 3, squeeze, good, 2. So you should be feeling the burn now. Last one. And release, good. And shake it off. Okay, so again, you do the same on the other side. And then the last resistance band exercise I would like you to focus on is coming into the wall. So it's a little bit similar to what we just did at the standing position. So you're taking the foot back. So take the hands in front. And from there, we're going to step it out. 1. And you're just stepping it forward, backwards, sorry. So just step it out, step it out. Okay. Try and keep this leg engaged. Okay, so you're still engaging the left glute, even as we work into the right glute and the hips. And then you can then step it back, all the way back, okay? So you can go for 10 in the 45-degree angle, and then you can go for 10 going straight back. And you should be feeling this glute engaging pretty heavily at the same time. So then you would say do the same on the other side. So you should really feel those engagements into the glutes and into the hips. You could hear I'm a little bit out of breath already. So hopefully that has really helped you. You should feel some more activation going on into those glutes and into those hips and into those abductors. Do let me know how you get on, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.